Welcome back. I'm Chris Morin with HVAC Pro Blog, and this week I'm going to talk about the single biggest reason residential HVAC businesses fail. Without further ado, here's the training. All right, I'm just going to cut right to it. It's price. That's right, not charging enough or even knowing how to come up with the correct pricing is the number one reason HVAC businesses fail. I was asked this question on social media not too long ago, and after a bit of thought, the solution really was just unmatched. By not charging enough in both service and installs, HVAC contractors are not able to train, keep good technicians, afford new vehicles, or weather a storm like a big job gone south. Do people in the South say a job went north? Anyway, or let's just say a pandemic. Did you know that 90% of all HVAC contractors in the United States generate less than $1.5 million in revenue annually? If you combine this with the fact that they realize about a 2% net profit, there is no chance in hell they could grow their business, trading time for money their entire career, only to end up without an exit plan and a business worth nothing without them. So let's talk about pricing service. More than once, I've heard an owner describe their service department as a loss leader, an unnecessary evil that's needed to pull in leads for the system replacements and handle all the callbacks. What I find interesting is that a lot of small HVAC business owners were once great technicians, so you'd think they know how to price service calls. Over the years, they have become very efficient at diagnosing and repairing equipment. The simplest way to price a job for technicians is using time and material, possibly including a modest trip charge. When doing this, it penalizes the technician who's knowledgeable and efficient. They will only bill out the hours working within the home, shorting their expertise. The alternative, a less experienced tech, will bill more hours and therefore be more profitable, hopefully, for the same work. To create enough profit, I would highly recommend moving service pricing to diagnostic fee and flat rate. This is probably the single biggest change a T&M contractor can make to ensure a profit with the service department. Quite a while ago, I implemented something called CoolFront. It's now Field Edge flat rate, which was very low cost and pay as you go. Significantly changed the way I looked at service revenue. And I became profitable with it just about overnight. I wish I implemented a flat rate book sooner. It turns out the stories about customers wanting to know what the total price is up front weren't folklore. The stress on service calls to work as quickly as possible so I could make less just about evaporated as quickly as I became profitable. All right, let's talk about pricing installs. Since this tends to be the largest revenue department for most residential contractors, pricing install and replacement jobs is the glaring hole in what makes a company profitable overall. I cannot possibly help you diagnose your pricing issues in this one video. Just mention that if you're not using your profit and loss statement to identify the correct percentage of overhead, targeting at least 10% net profit, knowing your cost of goods sold, including labor, and using a divisor to price your job, you're probably selling yourself short. I've heard and used many ways to price equipment replacements and new installations, like using a multiplier and only considering gross profit, which would have put me right out of business had I not closed my doors prior. The focus on job pricing needs to be less on your price versus the competition and more about adding value with high profit options like high efficiency equipment, accessories, indoor air quality and controls, including and correctly accounting for labor warranties and maintenance agreements could also be another great way to maximize your net profit. Of course, combining all these options with offering financing every time creates an in-home process that'll differentiate you from the competition that can barely find the time to get a single quote option that they probably emailed in a week or two. All right, let's talk about how to grow. If you haven't caught on the theme here, every part of your company must be profitable to grow your profits in business. There's no secret around the lack of qualified, or let's face it, even unqualified, what we call 2 feet in a heartbeat labor. As the owner of your organization, you owe it to yourself to be as profitable as possible with the billable time that you do have available. If you're pricing your jobs correctly and comparing the net profit on a proposal versus what you need to maintain, sometimes you should walk away. Gasp, right? You should also be weighing the higher risk, labor fat jobs versus your equipment heavy, lower risk jobs during your busy season. For example, why would you tie up your install crews for days during peak demand of summer completing new duct installs when you could be selling more profitable push-pull replacements or ductless installations? Trust me, your crews want to do these equipment-rich jobs during the summer anyway. Leave the attic crawls for shoulder seasons or for your competition to take out a low margin and put themselves out of business. Understanding your profit and loss statement, correctly accounting for labor and costs of goods sold, and aiming for at least a double-digit net profit in all departments is how you'll be able to grow your business. Thanks for joining me this week at HVAC Pro Blog, where we provide advice for residential system design, quality installation, and system diagnosis. I'll see you soon.